Bears News Fan Report is here. And today we have 3 hot stories that could completely change the Bears offseason. A key player might be losing his spot, a bold draft prediction could shock everyone, and a blockbuster trade rumor is shaking up the NFL. Are the Bears ready to take the next step, or are unexpected changes coming? Before we dive in, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into these big updates. First, let's talk about a player who arrived with high expectations but may not be the answer Chicago needs in the backfield. When he signed a 3-year, $24 million contract, the idea was for him to be the pillar of the Bears' running game. But in reality, his production between the tackles hasn't met expectations. Now, with a new head coach taking over, one who favors a more physical and direct running style, questions about his future are growing. Yes, we're talking about DeAndre Swift. Chicago took a big gamble on him, but the fit hasn't been ideal. His game is based on speed and outside runs, but new head coach Ben Johnson seems to prefer a more physical runner who can attack defenses head-on. Swift is unlikely to be cut due to salary cap implications, but that doesn't mean his RB1 spot is secure. The most likely scenario? The Bears could target a new lead back in the draft, and some intriguing names are already on the radar. According to PFF, some of the best fits for this system could be found on day 2 of the draft, with Amari Hampton, North Carolina, and Caleb Johnson, Iowa, being perfect options for this physical rushing attack. If Chicago drafts one of them, Swift could find himself in a rotational role and see his future with the team become more uncertain. Can he prove he's still the right guy, or are we about to witness a major backfield shakeup? Speaking of changes, the next topic could completely redefine the Bears' draft strategy. Most experts assume the 10th overall pick will be used to strengthen the offensive line. After all, it makes perfect sense to protect the quarterback and build a solid team in the trenches, right? But an insider just dropped a bombshell that could change everything. Kevin Fishbain of The Athletic made a shocking prediction. Instead of investing in offense, the Bears could prioritize defense and select Mason Graham, a defensive tackle from Michigan. This guy is an absolute beast on the defensive line and is considered one of the best in the class, just behind Abdul Carter, Penn State. Fishbain argues that passing on Graham would be a mistake, as he could immediately transform the Bears' defensive front. Does this make sense? Absolutely. Pairing him with Jervin Dexter and Andrew Billings would create a nightmare for opposing offenses and give defensive coordinator Dennis Allen a powerful weapon in the trenches. But here's the big question. Can the Bears afford to ignore the offensive line when protecting the quarterback as the top priority? Or is adding a generational defensive talent more valuable? Whatever the decision, this draft could shape the future of the franchise for years to come. Now, if you thought those updates were big, hold on tight because this final rumor could be one of the biggest trades in Bears history. According to analyst Damon Wolf of Dogs by Nature, there's speculation about a blockbuster trade involving Myles Garrett and Greg Newsome II heading to Chicago. Yes, you heard that right. The rumored deal would send Garrett, Newsome, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick to the Bears. In return, Chicago would give up the 10th overall pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 2026 first-round pick, offensive tackle Kieran Amegaji, and wide receiver Tyler Scott. This means the Bears would be acquiring one of the best pass rushers in the NFL and a promising cornerback, instantly elevating their defense to an elite level. But does this trade make sense for a team still in the rebuilding phase? Is it worth giving up valuable picks to build a dominant defense now? Or would it be wiser to stick to the long-term plan and build through the draft? What do you think, Bears fans? Should Chicago go all in on this trade or stay patient and build the roster step by step? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, you know what to do. Subscribe to the Bears News Fan Report and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. This possible trade for Myles Garrett and Greg Newsome II is seriously tempting. Garrett is one of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL, and Newsome would bring stability to the secondary. The Bears' defense would instantly become a powerhouse. But the price is steep. Giving up the 10th overall pick, a 2nd-rounder, a 2026 first-rounder, plus 2 promising young players could jeopardize the team's long-term future. The reality is that the Bears are still rebuilding and need to nail their draft picks to build a competitive team for the long run. Giving up valuable assets could speed up the process, but also comes with huge risk if the team doesn't have a solid foundation. If the offensive line remains weak and the offense doesn't improve, an elite defense alone won't be enough. As for DeAndre Swift, he's talented, but he's never been the physical running back the Bears truly need. If the new coach wants a powerful rushing attack, it makes total sense to look at the draft and find someone who fits the system better. Swift could still be useful in a complementary role, but relying on him as the RB1 might be a mistake. And about taking Mason Graham at number 10? That would be an unexpected move, but I get it. If the Bears believe he can be a game changer on defense, it could be worth it. But ignoring the offensive line again, that's risky. Protecting the QB has to be the priority. At the end of the day, I bet on reinforcing the offensive line first and keeping the draft picks for the future. But what about you, Bears fans? Would you go all in for Garrett or stick to the long-term strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments.